Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to call our meeting to order, and we're going to begin by our Pledge of Allegiance tonight. We're going to have our Student Government Association representative to lead us in that pledge, if she would.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Well, welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Florida Gateway College Board of Trustees meeting. We will now entertain the audience of any citizen who's here tonight that may want to address the board on a one-time basis, a relevant topic. If we want to know more about that topic, we'll schedule a meeting for future. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. Is there anybody here that would like to address the board? Okay. Our next item of business will be the approval of our board minutes, which you have had ample time, board members, to look over them for any changes, corrections, or amendments. Do you see any?
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, we have Mrs. Norris and Dr. Tepedino seconding. All in favor of Mrs. Norris's motion to approve, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you. All right. Absolutely. Okay. We approved the minutes, and that was our regular meeting and our workshop as well. So it's all under Roman numeral 4. You can see that there. The president has asked me, and if there's no problem with any of our trustees, we're going to move our student government report in front of the highlight of our evening, which is the recognition of Mr. Mike Williams. If that meets with your approval, can we move that on? Thank you. So we're going to ask our student government representative, if she would, to come forward and give a report.
Good evening, everyone. For the month of March, the Student Government Association put on many activities. For Women's History Month, we did an annual Women's Walk where we celebrated and commemorated the women that came before us. And we also passed out women's empowerment t-shirts, which were stated as Empowered Women, Empowered Women. In addition to our women's history goings on, in the art club hosted a paint point activity which allows students to have a fun and easy way to create their own works of art on campus. Other highlights from this month of March were our Trivia Thursdays, where we challenged our students and teachers about the pop culture, sports, and also St. Patrick's Day knowledge. This concludes my report. Are there any questions? All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, and thank you for taking time out of your schedule to be here with us. We appreciate it more than you know. Okay, now we're back to Roman numeral 5. Special recognitions, which we are so happy to have with us tonight. Mr. Mike Williams, who is a long-time supporter of this college and great friend of this college. And Mr. Williams has with him tonight, and we are very glad to have you with us, Mr. Bryant, Johnny Bryant, who is Mr. Williams' uncle, if that's correct, if you claim him. Great hat, by the way, Mr. Bryant. I love your hat. Thank you. And then we have Miss Lori Williams, Mr. Mike Williams' wife. We're so thankful to have you both with us. And I'm going to turn it over now to the president for our special recognition.
I'm going to turn it over probably to Trustee Brandon in a minute, but Mike, when I first arrived here, he's one of the ones who welcomed me here 7 years ago. He has done so much for this college in his role as both the alumnus here and also his former role as Nutrien, and also his role, short-term role, but very impactful role with the city of Lake City to move along many projects that are pretty much almost completed, that some of us have been waiting for, like Marlon and others for over 20, 25 years, and me for 7 years. So Mike's been a dear colleague, supporter of me and this college for many, many years, and I thought it was appropriate, per the board's request, that we honor him with an appreciation for his dedication and service. And I know Chuck would like to say something too.
Thank you. First of all, I apologize for running late. I had to take my child to the pediatrician this afternoon. It got me all the way in Jacksonville, so it got me behind. We've had to put this off a couple of times because I couldn't be here, Mike. And then I know you had some issues and you couldn't be here, but we're glad you're here. And we do not want you to retire and not be recognized by this college board for all of your service. I guess you served, how many years on the foundation board?
I think it was maybe 5.
Yeah, and one of those years as chairman, I believe. Were you chairman of the foundation board?
I think 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years. There we go. But what a friend he's been. I know you walk around campus, you walk around the library, and you'll see the Nutrien name there as a sponsor of many of our facilities. But I don't know that you'd see that Nutrien name without Mike Williams behind it. He was the driving force. And I know there was a couple of times at the end of the year, and I don't know if I'm using the right terminology, but maybe the company had a little extra community service money at the end of the year, and Mike was always looking out for the college. And if there was some extra dollars that he could turn and send our way, he did that. But he's been a good friend to the college. He's been a good friend to me, and I value his friendship. And I appreciate you bringing your family members. Now, where does your uncle live?
Hamilton County.
He's a Hamilton County guy, too.
Just down the road from me. He's an alumni of Lake City Community College.
Wow.
And also, Suzanne, you'll love this, University of Florida. But, start here, go anywhere. Even there. He's been a mentor to me in most all of the formative years of my life, and I'm still kind of formative, so we look out for each other. And then my lovely wife, who's here with us tonight, she's always the one who's helped me out a lot, stood behind me, pushed me in the right direction sometimes, but none of what things that I do would be possible without her or him. So,
Well, we know you've always been community oriented, and by no means do we mean by giving you this that you're supposed to go away. You can hang around any capacity you want to. Now, you were county manager for how many years there? 8 years as county manager. So his whole life is, and of course, his service in the military. So his whole life has revolved around community service, and we just wanted to show our appreciation. And with that, I'll shut up, and any other board members that want to say anything.
I feel like interacting, my family my father worked out with him for many, many years.
great man, too.
And we have stories about how lucky he was to be able to work with you and how blessed he was to have you in a leadership role there. And that's a common thread that other folks in this community have shared with me in other capacities. So I don't think it's just, like you said, it's a thread that throughout his life, whether it was in your military service or in your service to your family, your friends, and your loved ones, that it is, you truly embody some of the best characteristics of what we would ask for those who are in this community. So you set the example by how you live your life, not just with words. So thank you for your services.
Thank you.
Mike, I'd like to say thank you as well. We've worked together in many different aspects, and if there's an organization that is in need of leadership, in need of contribution of both time, talent, and treasure, that is in need of vision, you can usually find Mike Williams on that board, and usually in a leadership capacity, whether it's a volunteer board like between the United Way, between the Chamber of Commerce, or in a capacity in public works. But again, the college, I think we all agree, is such a unique asset to our community because of the fact that so many people from so many different walks of life benefit from the institutional greatness of this college. Start here, go anywhere, including the University of Florida. just thank you for your time that you put into this organization, because I know there's so many places that want your time, want your talent, but you recognize that this place is really, really special. So thank you for that. Thank you for your time on the foundation, because I think our foundation is really a strong foundation, and not just monetarily, but in terms of outreach for donors and support, and you had a big part of that, so thank you.
I want to thank you for your love for Florida Gateway and your service with the foundation and what you have done for our students. We thank you.
I want to say thank you also. So many ways you contribute to our community. Personally, with the Science Fair program, the Regional Science Fair program, we couldn't do what we do and provide awards to our area students without your help that you provided through Nutrien, and we thank you. And I know even in retirement, this won't stop. You're going to stay involved and as much as you can possibly do to help the community and our college. So thank you.
Well, Mr. Williams, I just want to encourage you to think about in your retirement. Baker County is a great place to relocate. We could surely use them, and anybody who can fit everything I've heard here this evening into one life, we would be happy to have you. Congratulations, sir. Job well done.
You can be successful at that, Mike. Hamilton County's been in the news a lot. The governor showed up in Jasper last week, and while we were there, he was asking me, talking to me and my wife. He said, "Well, where are you from, Chuck?" And I said, "Well, I live in Baker County, but I was actually born in Jasper." Now, my mama tells me this. I can't verify this, but it's a story she tells. And of course, I kind of blew some people's mind. I said, when we were standing on stage, I said I was born right down the street of the hospital. And a lot of people, I could see them in the audience looking around like, we don't have a hospital. Some people already forgot. And the hospital hasn't been gone that many years that it's already gone. But my mother, the story was, she took me home from the hospital to McClenny, David. So wow. I don't know. I can't say I'm born and raised in Baker County because I actually was born in Jasper. So there is a life after living in Hamilton County. If you get born in the hospital, they take you straight to McClenny.
And the rest is history.
Mike, you want to say anything before we give you the award? Or?
Joke about the mental hospital there.
Yeah, I think I have to after have said so much about me. Most people know that I'm a man of many words, but I'll try to be brief. First off, thank you. Thank each and every one of you for what you do. This Board of Trustees really shows dedicated servant leadership to the college. Dr. Barrett, I have to tell this story. I told him, so I guess I can tell other people. When Chuck left, and Chuck and I were pretty good friends. We did some things together here at the college in his tenure. And Dr. Barrett was coming in. I was like, oh, they're getting this new guy in. Now we're going to have to break somebody new in. I hope he's good, you know. I'm a little worried. How's he going to fit in? Came over and met him. And immediately we just bonded. Okay, he just that kind of guy. He's a go-getter. He takes a bit in his teeth and he runs off. You know, you have to rein him in every now and then sometime. I'm sure I'm telling something y'all don't know, but he's just great. And the college is lucky to have a man of his character and his knowledge and skill set, as well as all of you. But Florida Gateway College has always been near and dear to my heart. I was a alumni here, went to school here. I remember coming to this campus. I came back from Europe and had been in the Army about 7 years before I came here. I already had 1 year of college. You know, it took me 7 years to get that 1 year. And I came here and finished up and then left here and went to Fort Benning. But this was the biggest campus at that time. It's shrunk some since then. But I actually started here and I had great memories here. The staff was helpful, the education was good, good interaction with my peers, but it was just a great thing. I was in student government for that year I was here. I really liked it. But, you know, I'm kind of a testament to the fact you can come here, start here, and go on and do other things. But you guys make that possible. This college is an economic engine for our community. We bring in people from all the surrounding counties. We educate them. We show them that there are ways to improve yourself, to get more education. And whether you come here and go with a terminal technical degree, or whether you come here and just do your AA and then go on to Florida State or the University of Florida or even West Florida, I mean, you know, or anywhere else, it's just great. And the kids who come here and graduate from here, when they go on to those universities, and Florida universities are nothing to sneeze at, they're all cutting edge, good universities. They do better than people who go to the university to start with, because they have a better foundation. Okay, they have a more nurturing environment for that first 2 years, and then you move on. But this institution is good for our community. It's a draw to businesses coming here when they come here and see this and see that the potential for educational programs that could be done here, and the trained workforce that you help provide, as well as just the very fiber of our community, because the more educated we are, the better we are. Okay, so you guys really work hard to make that happen. My hat's off to you for all that you do, and I thank you. And I'm guilty, as Chuck said. At the end of the year, if we had a little extra money, I'd come over and see Dr. Barrett. We'd talk about things. What could we do? But, you know, we've done things like diversity programs to improve education in our minority communities, girls and women's empowerment, fishing, you know, we did STEM, we've just done a lot of things, and it was all wonderful stuff. And when you talk about how good education is in Florida, I think it's pretty good. Could it be better? Well, everything could be better, okay? I see this place is a shining example of how things can be. And I think that we're lucky to have it here in Lake City. So, thank you.
Can I ask you a question? Mike, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Did you give that talk to your replacement, Rachel?
Yes.
Okay, we want to make sure.
Mike.
Rachel is an alumni of the University of Florida. You know that. She's an ag.
Great.
And she's good farm material, and she loves the place too.
Mike, you want to come up? We'll give our chair and I will just give this. We'll come up in front.
Okay.
Anybody want to join us? Take pictures.
And y'all want to come up? Yeah.
Come on, stop.
That was proper. Okay. Come on over here. Brian.
That looks good to me.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming.
Okay, well, I feel better about myself now. Hearing all those good things everybody had to say. The presentation of the consent agenda, the items on this agenda, routine business, state directives, or compliance items, they've all been reviewed by our board attorney, and they're available to the board for its examination. We've had this document. Any trustee can request a topic be removed from the consent agenda and discussed further. Typographical errors, if there are any, will be noted and corrected in the board minutes. Is there any item on the consent agenda that any board member would like to have pulled off and considered separately?
I don't want to pull it off. I just want to make a comment real quickly about the equity report.
Yes, ma'am.
I think you all did an excellent job on it, really improved measures. Difficult at a small school when you have such small numbers. And, aspirational goals, keep working on them. I read the report, and like I said, it's tough at a small place because you're trying to move a needle from a very small pool to start with. But I think you all did a really nice job of addressing, the goals that we have in place and how we're going to achieve them. So thank you for that hard work.
And I want to concur, as you all know that do the equity report, K through 12 must do equity reports as well. And I did that for 6 years in our district, and it's a bear. I mean, it requires a great deal of rigor. And I would second everything that Mrs. Norris said. It was outstanding, well done, a lot of sweat equity with, no pun
A lot
intended
of work
there.
went into it. A lot of work went into
Lot,
that.
Ms. Captain, lot. So, do we have a motion to approve the items on the consent agenda?
So
I
moved.
move.
Okay, Mrs. Norris moves and Ms. McGinnis will second. You hear the motion second, all in favor of that, members of the board, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same sign. The motion passes. Thank you so much. And now, we'll have presentations by, first of all, Academic Affairs, Paula Gap.
I know you guys must be wondering why the VPs are wearing t-shirts that rock out. Well, we challenged the student body to a music trivia competition today. And we actually had a $50 gift certificate to the winner. And we chipped in money so that we could give them $75 cold hard cash if they beat us. Unfortunately for the students, we had world domination and we annihilated the competition. Okay?
What era was the music from? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Impressive.
And I must give credit to Michelle. She is a music trivia guru.
Wow.
So my report, the theater program, we had our Crucible production last month that I already told you. We received a superior rating from the FCS Activities Association with a 96 out of 100 for the production score, which is the highest that's been given to any Florida State college this year. So we rock in there too. Tomorrow night at 7 p.m. is FGC Rock Fest. We have 4 local bands that are going to be playing. One's actually is Dylan Gerard's band.
Yeah,
He's going to be
Baker
playing there.
County.
Yeah. April 22nd at 7 p.m., the Gateway City Big Band featuring local professional musicians and students under the direction of Matt Johns will be playing next week. And the board, of course, is always free to come. All you have to do is just either contact me or Dr. Barrett or Todd Ziff, and we will get you tickets. The Florida College System Publications Association held its annual conference and award ceremony for our How magazine, and we got 2 second-place awards for Best Fiction and Best Contents pages, and then 2 third-place awards for Best Individual Poem and Best Editing. So congratulations to them. Welding is hosting a competition for local high schools on April 23rd. The event has found great support from our community and industry partners who have pledged some welding machines and tools and gloves and equipment for the participants and the winners, and some scholarship money as well for the winners.
That's good.
FGC staff has participated in the local law enforcement torch run that was the other day, showing support for local responders and for the Special Olympics, and that was fun. Starting to hurt my back towards the end there. 2 miles is off a long way, but our current CDL cohort will be graduating on May 2nd. We have another group that's being prepped for the incoming class, and that class will be covered by scholarships. And so, and this has really increased the interest in this program, which of course is in dire need of employees, right, of CDL drivers. Cosmetology has reopened to the public, so we will be offering free services to the public. And the art and design, the spring 2022 Student Art and Design Show will be held starting tomorrow to April 25th in the PAC. And they have lots of great artwork on display. And then finally, PTK, the induction ceremony took place last night with 405 students qualifying for membership. So it was a large group of students coming in.
Great.
So that is my conclusion.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Any
Do you-
questions?
I have a question for you. With the cohort from the CDL that's finishing the program, do you have a feel yet for how many will have placements?
I'm pretty sure all of them.
I think that's a great story to tell. We brag a lot about our medical group going out and having jobs, but I was listening to something today where they were talking about Walmart drivers were earning like $100,000 a year for Walmart to drive, and it's hard work. It's skilled labor. You don't want anybody just hopping behind one of those trucks and hitting the highway. But I think it's a great story to tell that people that are investing that time, and again, for the people that are sponsoring the scholarships, that they come out and they have placements already. So hopefully we have a plan in place to advertise and share their success.
Yes.
But you still have openings
For the next
CDL?
for the next class, we are pretty packed. I think we will actually have to hold off on having them all come, just because of the sheer
Are they coming from
size
the
of the
general
program.
community? Are they coming from like people that go to the employers looking for jobs? The employer sends them. Where do you get a feel for where they're coming from?
No, I think they're just coming from the community, from just the outreach and our Facebook page,
Great.
advertisements, that
That
sort of
is
thing.
great.
I mean, this thing I was listening to this morning, it said that the average, I'm trying to remember what the source was because I don't want to misquote it, but it's probably directionally correct. That a four-year degree, the average salary for someone coming out of a four-year college degree was like $50,000. Because you got the high end and low end in between. But that, right now, especially in those type of jobs and in welding too, which I think the contest is great, the competition, that you're talking, starting salaries and making in the six-figure range, or, again, I call it skilled trade labor, not blue-collar labor. I think it kind of gives a connotation that's not very attractive, but you start talking up some of those figures, you definitely, that's a really important part of our workforce.
On the welding, on April the 23rd,
Yes.
what time will that start?
Well, I'll have to double check on that.
That's okay. But has all of the counties, are they all participating?
I believe so. I'll double check,
Okay.
and then I'll make sure that they are all invited, if not.
Because I'll check too.
Yeah, yeah.
Check to see if it's
Okay.
Well, I'm just checking.
Your
to
Dixie
see.
County ghost.
Yeah,
Yes.
I want to make sure that
You're
they're
represented,
involved.
right.
Great report.
Thank you,
Thank
Doctor.
you.
I appreciate that. And next, I need to share this. Whenever I came in this evening and I saw our lovely ladies, Dr. Gavin, Mrs. Holloway, I just thought it was, like before Easter, dress down Thursday, So I didn't really pay it wasn't a big deal until Mr. Cardenas walked in blue jeans and almost passed out. He didn't have on, that cord suit. It was great. So our enrollment management and student affairs director, Mr. Cardenas, in his blue jeans.
Missing the baseball cap was wearing,
And sunglasses. Mr. Crawford, you have no idea how uncomfortable I am right now.
You look great. You look great.
I would like to thank Amy Deacle for hosting a wonderful trivia event today. She is our director of student affairs, student activities, and she did a great job and has been all year long. So thank you, Amy. You had a blast today. I would like to start out with an enrollment report. Summer 2022 registration began on April 4th, so 10 days ago. As of today, we have 1,179 students registered for 7,966 credit hours. We're up 12% on headcount for summer year over year, and 9% in credit hours year over year. So we're finishing up week 2 of 5 for this very, very short enrollment window. So early numbers are strong. We're
Great.
excited about that.
Wonderful.
Of course, we want to take a look at our summer math initiative that we started this summer. We have 208 students that have registered for in-seat math classes versus 153 choosing online math. So for the first time, we don't have exact numbers year over year, but in-seat numbers are higher than online numbers, so it's definitely working in that sense. Our more popular in-person math classes include intermediate algebra, elementary stats, elementary algebra, and college algebra. And our most popular online math includes intermediate algebra and elementary stats. Now, when Dr. Barrett first brought this program to us, we talked about all the pros and the cons, how it would affect enrollment. Today, I received a letter from a student. And in my office, what we did is when a student, life happens to college students all the time. A student has to withdraw, they get a D, or they fail a class, and they have to take a class, they have to do what we call a third attempt. And when a student wants to take a third attempt, that has to come through my office for approval, so they don't have to pay out-of-state rates. State statute says you'd have to pay out-of-state rates for that third attempt. So I have to approve or disapprove of the request. They tell me what the situation was before, how it's improved, and how they plan on being successful. I'll read an excerpt from this letter from a student. I'm registering to take my last, in all caps, and final class at FGC this summer, which is college algebra. Considering that math classes are free this summer, this felt like it was my chance to finally finish the degree that has been a long time coming. Simply put, without the free offer, it wouldn't be an option. Even more so if I had to pay out-of-state tuition. My family and friends are committed to helping me achieve my goal any way possible. I have reached out to the math teachers at the high school I'm employed at, and they have agreed to help tutor me. I'm going to give this class every bit of myself to succeed, and I do appreciate any leniency you feel compelled to give me as far as tuition costs may be. Thank you for your time. So not only is it impacting, obviously, enrollment, but it's directly impacting some of these students even deeper than we thought. So I thought I would share that with the board today.
Thank you.
Also supporting our summer enrollment, we had one stop last Friday. We had 94 students in attendance, which was actually up year over year too. Financial aid had 2 audits, one for Bright Futures and one for the Florida Student Aid Grant, both for AA and for our career programs. No major findings. Yes, we had one minor, but no majors, and it was very, very minor. Student activities, Spring Fling 2022, we had over 200 students attend our annual Spring Fling event on campus April 6th. In addition to Spring Fling, Student Affairs and Student Life also hosted an annual Spring Career Fair where we had 22 companies from Lake City and the surrounding areas attend. We also hosted the Spring Transfer Day where we had 15 tables of college and university programs from the state representative. UF had the most representation at this event, so that was nice to see. And finally, dual enrollment. Our director, Julie Cannon, has advised 125 dual enrollment students in person at all 7 public high schools in our service district and Belmont High School. Julie has also converted 45 dual enrollment students to degree-seeking students starting this summer. So those students are converted and ready to go and taking classes in this first summer session. So they're also helping bring those numbers up. And that is my report. Are there any questions?
Thank you.
That's great. Hearing a
Great
lot of buzz.
report.
I heard a lot of buzz about the math from people that were not necessarily traditional Florida Gateway students. So I think it was a great reach out to the community.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very innovative. Thank you so much. Okay. Business services report, Mrs. Holloway.
Good evening. We had a great time challenging the students to music trivia, and I love that we won.
She's a woman of few words. I
am
love that we
slightly
won. That's enough
competitive.
said.
I have 2 budget amendments to ask your approval on. The college will press approval of budget amendment number 7 to the restricted current fund, Fund 2, for the fiscal year 2021-2022. This amendment recognizes revised award authorizations and new grants received in the 2021-22 fiscal year.
You hear the request. What's the mind of the board?
I move to make a motion.
Mrs. McGinnis makes a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mrs. Allen seconds. All in favor of that motion and second, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same sign. The motion's carried.
Thank you. And next, we are requesting approval of budget amendment number 8 for Fund 7, which has been revised, so the report reflects actual revenue, revised budgeted expenditures, actual expenses, and updated projects through March 28, 2022.
I hear the request by Mrs. Holloway. Do we have a motion to approve the request?
I so move.
Mrs. Allen makes the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mrs. McGinnis seconds. All in favor?
Norris.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Norris.
That's okay.
I apologize. All in favor of that motion and second, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same sign. The motion is carried.
Thank you. That concludes my report. Any questions?
I would like to say one thing, and I will take this as an opportunity to apologize. I was not here when I would have addressed this statement to the board, which would have been right after our large Auditor General's report, annual report. So I didn't get to do that because I was not here last time, and I apologize for my absence. But I thank you all so much for your understanding and your prayers on my wife's behalf. She'll have her last chemotherapy treatment on Monday, and we're so excited. Thank you for your prayers. But 30 years ago, I was involved in my first audit with the Auditor General's office and, role that I occupied in our school district. And I've been involved with them every year since. It's been my great privilege. And in all of that time, in all those audits, and I've always done well. That's the reason I've been able to retain my position. I have never, and I mean this sincerely, all foolishness aside, I've never heard auditors what I would call effervesce, but I lived long enough to hear it. In the exit conference, those good folks effervesced over Mrs. Holloway and shared with me how fortunate we are to have that dear lady and her leadership. And I just didn't want it to pass without sharing that publicly and putting it on the record.
Thank you.
Auditors, effervesce. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
And now our president's report.
So she is the queen of trivia. She was giving us some questions. I was going to ask her to ask you some, but I won't do that today. So thank you, Mr. Chair. Beforehand, before I forget about the math, and it's a laser focus of this institution for success. The initiative has started off extremely, extremely well, and we were all very nervous about it. Now it's crossed the finish line. It's not how we started. Some students started differently than others. It's how they're going to finish, and that's what we're going to focus on, and to see if in-person math makes a difference. And we're putting all our efforts into that this summer. So I want to thank the faculty and staff for doing that. I think at first I thought it was a crazy idea, but anyway. So summer graduation is coming up May 6th. Any of you that haven't said you're coming, you're still available to come. We have your regalia available. Remember, that's at 10:30 in the morning and 1:30 in the morning on Friday, May 6th. A little different this year. We tried to change it. Remember, this is the first time in 3 years that we've actually had a graduation in the gym. Some of us are pondering that, and some of us are not. But the gym setup will be a little different. We've created a new center aisle for the students to come up with a red carpet that we think would make it a difference. We also have given the opportunity, we heard many complaints through the years that students wanted to graduate with their fellow friends and other students. So in this graduation ceremonies, we used to have the morning graduates be the AA and baccalaureate, I believe, is that I think what we did the last time, and then we had the technical education in the afternoon. We split it up so the students could decide. We've limited students to 80 each. Well, we could go higher, but that was all we had. So we'll be having 80 students in each of the ceremonies. I'm a little down, but we're a little down because of our enrollment challenge from last year. So it's going to be a little different. And I'm pleased to announce publicly for the first time, we'll be doing the public announcements to the press soon, is a member of the board, Chuck Brannon, will be the Alumni of the Year this year.
Scraping the bottom of the barrel.
So we decided that it was appropriate, Mr. Brandon's dedication and everything to the college and being an alumnus, not once, but twice, right? Both AA and then the police academy.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, we thought it was so important that we do that. We also have planned another alumni in the summertime, but we are going to have a summer graduation on August 9th in the evening. Once again, that's another reason, and that will be held in the PAC, where we can do a lot more audio-visual stuff that we've done in the past. So we'll be keeping you abreast of that. Lots going on from now until graduation day. We talked about Phi Theta Kappa, great turnout last night. Right before graduation, we will have two events. You have an invitation to the nursing pinning ceremony that will be held in the PAC, and also the athletic banquet, which is going to be hosted by HCA of Lake City. It's going to be sponsored, and Jill Adams will be speaking to the students that evening. And that's on, the days just keep on, 28th. Also want to, so those are things that, also want to remind you that if you haven't received it, and we can get it, Katie can get it to you, that the ACCT conference that some of you go to each year is going to be held in New York City this year. Wouldn't recommend going on the subways. But that's October 26th to the 29th. And I plan on going, so I'm hopeful one or two other trustees will be going. It's a pretty big event that we've done in the past. So
It's October the 26th.
to the 29th, and the early bird registration that we can get our money back is May 20th. So I just tell you that today. Put that on. I know all of you sometimes go to that. Also want to talk briefly about the event we had last Friday at the Lusty campus, where some of you celebrated and a lot of people celebrated the dedication of the buildings of Gerald Dobson, Catherine McGinnis, and Grace and Al Harder. Thank you for the foundation. Thank you, Katie, for orchestrating that. Great turnout. Was very heartfelt. We didn't advertise it as a public event because we wanted it special to the families, and people were there. Probably close to 90 people there. And it was just a very special occasion to celebrate very special people. So I was very happy with that, and we did post those pictures out on Facebook and so forth. So all of them very, very special and very dedicated people that did an enormous amount of things for us. June 30th, make sure you put it on your calendar. June 30th will be the opening of the STEM building. The STEM building, and we'll get to the foundation luncheon in a minute. I almost forgot that, Lee. So June 30th, 9:30 will be the grand opening of the building. And as I will remind all of you, that is a special day for this institution. As we open the STEM building, the first new building here since 2011, I believe. It will also start and commemorate the 75th anniversary, the same exact date in 1947 when 14 students started on that day here at the campus. So it's going to be a very important date to do that. Also want to let you know the Ball Road is completed. If you want to take a look at that. And in the middle of the walkabout roundabout, so this is an internal joke, that is not open yet. There will be our faculty from our welding, Joe Ganser, is building and welding a 5-sided torch, which each side will represent each county that represent the college. That will be lit in the center of that will represent the college when we have special events such as graduation and so forth. So very happy to say that, and Joe's been spending a lot of time on that. Trying to get gas to it was interesting, but we did it, right, Michelle? So want to talk about that. Also want to talk about the trucking briefly, and then let me get back to the foundation. Is trucking, the trucking industry, I think, was a little bit, I'm always upfront with you, I think they were a little nervous or concerned that we had tried a trucking program 12 or 13 years ago and didn't have a lot of success. And I think some of them were concerned that it was going to be the same way, and we assured them, Lee and I and John Jewett and those that went out to talk about it, that it wasn't going to be that way. Still think there was some trepidation on their part. Now that we're graduating our first class, we've gotten some feedback, and I know the staff. I recently met with Anderson Columbia, Josh McDougall, and one of our challenges with the program is that we could be doing a lot more. There's a lot more demand for students that want this program than we can provide. However, it's a very, very expensive program, very expensive. And people say, oh, it's not expensive for the students because currently it's free. It's expensive because of the hours of this program. Because besides the 320 hours that are needed for the program, each student needs 1,000 hours of road time with a professional. So it was interesting what I say about Anderson Columbia, because Josh came to me after the chamber meeting the other day and said, can we help you in that method to do it? And I said, I don't know. He said, well, it'll be like an apprenticeship program. So we are exploring with them next week an opportunity, and I think this could build on other companies. We got to look at liability, we got to look at state approval rating, but that companies like that could actually help us with those 1,000 hours. So it would be like a preceptor in allied healthcare.
Great. Yeah,
So we're
that's a
trying to
great
find
idea.
out creatively if we can do that, because then we can actually have more people to take this, because currently we need lots of faculty to do that, and frankly, there's not that many faculty that could teach this. So I wanted to follow you up with that.
Great idea.
Foundation Luncheon, April 27th, 11:30. Lee promises me we'll be out of there by 1:05. Okay, you better be. We'll be celebrating some great gifts that the foundation has received over the last year and a half, 2 years, because we haven't had that meeting, and acknowledging at that luncheon, I will be announcing who the building for the STEM building will be named after publicly. So, anything else about that, Lee? I need to. Okay, and then the last thing. I'm sorry, I'm going on too much with you. A couple of other things. The property is being surveyed between the city, the property swap, all 3 parcels that we're receiving 2 parcels and they're receiving 1 parcel. That's being surveyed this week, I think, by Pittman and Associates. And so that should be settled. That piece, that should be finalized, and then we'll bring it to the city, and hopefully everything gets finalized once and for all. The cleanup of the old firing range, we estimated that we believe, I don't want to promise, overpromise anything. I always mention that to Michelle, but the initial response that we had, both Michelle and I, was about $150,000 to clean up the old firing range. I think with Mike Lee's help and the EPA looking at it and getting some things, I think we'll probably get out of there about 30 grand. So and with the county's help, the county will help us with this too. So it's going to be a partnership to try to, and if we have too much lead in there, we actually can sell the lead back. It's kind of an interesting process. So I'm very happy about that, because I was wondering where we're going to have to take out a fund balance to get that property cleaned up. Then the last thing, which, well, there's 2 more things, is that 2 both good announcements. Well, one potentially good is the STEM building. If you remember, I'm not going to go back through the STEM building, the negotiations between then Senator Rob Bradley and the college, and Chuck, I remember questioning me about that, is how we were going to build a building for $12.8 million when we needed 18. And we built the building because we compacted things, we changed things, we adapted to what we needed to do. And we actually scaled back some things. I'm still pretty impressed with the building when you get to see it. You'd be very impressed by it. But so at the end of the day, because of a lot of changes that happened and so forth, we were able to get an additional 6.5, which has been cut back now by the state to 5.8, 5.75. So we now have 5.75 left. We're going to just have the Taj Mahal in that. We're going to have a functional place. So we've been desperately trying to figure out what to do with an extension on that building. And it's a difficult challenge because of the way we built it. So we've been able to, thanks to Michelle and some pushing by some, the state has agreed that we could build another smaller building anywhere we want on campus, as long as it's STEM related. So we're now looking towards that and then we're looking towards that. So more to come on that. And then finally, thanks to you, we've talked about we did a workshop on the Hospital Authority building. We have been doing a lot of reach outs to people in the community, trying to figure out if that's capable and viable. And we are also currently in the process of checking out the legal processes and the legal things. And we'll have more information. It's not finalized, the legal opinions and so forth, but we actually have been looking at that behind the scenes. So more to come to see if I'll bring it forward to you or not, but there seems to be some interest in the college in doing this, and there seems to be some interest in the community to partner with us to do it. That being said, it's not what we need to do, but I mean, it's at least we're engaging like I said I would do. So I just wanted to let you know that. So, and that's my report, Mr. Chair. I'm sorry to take up so
Thank you.
much
Do
time.
we have any questions? Ms.
Yes.
McGinnis?
Dr. Baird, on August the 9th, what time is that graduation? Do you know?
I believe it's either 6 or 6:30. It's an evening one.
Okay.
You remember, Katie? I think it's 6:30 because we wanted people to be able to travel.
Okay,
and so
yeah.
forth.
Any other questions or comments on the president's report?
Supposed to remind the board to submit my,
Okay, if they have not done that. Okay, if you have not, please do remember, we need to get all of the evaluations relative to the president's performance, those annual evaluations, and please turn those in if you will. If you have a desire for topics for future meetings,
No, but I'd like to make a comment.
yes, ma'am.
It was wonderful last Friday, and I just want to let you know that I was so appreciative and thankful.
That was a wonderful
I didn't feel
ceremony.
like I deserved that because all of y'all deserve. But I was very appreciative. My family was appreciative. So I'm just thankful.
It was a wonderful, wonderful ceremony, and she looked so lovely in pink. She did just so lovely. It looked very spring. And she was very gracious. Are there any topics for future meetings that any of our board members would like? Yes.
I would just like to say, the State Science Fair was March 29th through the 31st. And Florida Gateway College awarded 2 scholarships. At the State
Right.
Science Fair, we had more applicants than we'd ever had. We had more applicants than like UCF. So I was impressed with that. And 2 scholarship winners were named from, within driving distance of
Good.
Florida Gateway College. And I would like to, either at the May meeting or the June meeting, invite those 2 winners to be
Sure.
recognized and maybe receive a certificate or something from the
Great.
college.
Sure. Wonderful.
One thing, I would like to invite all of you to our scholarship night on May the 7th. It's on a Saturday night, and you're all welcome. We'll start at 6:30, and we think we're going to exceed our numbers that we had before, over 200,000. So we're excited, and
Thank you.
so, but you're all welcome.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Okay. Of course, always, the warrant register is available for inspection. Is there anything else that needs to claim the attention of our board? If all minds are relieved, then we'll have a, pardon me. Okay, yeah, let's look, I'm sorry, as we set the time for the next meeting, do you want to do the workshop before the regular meeting, or do you want to do the workshop after? We have it right now at 4 o'clock. Would you like to do it at 4, or would you like to do it after the meeting?
Did we discuss this at a recent meeting where we thought having it afterwards made more sense for people since they didn't have to leave work early? Or am I thinking of a different?
Well, I made that recommendation for that one workshop, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I do not have a fire in the belly either way.
I'd leave it to the people that have to drive outside of the county and defer to what's easiest for them because they've got the long ride home regardless.
Let's, Miss Catherine, would you
I'm
rather?
retired, I can come anytime.
It's a long drive back to the
I'm
car.
just
Dr.
going.
Teppadino? is it
Do you
better
guys
for
wanna can we maybe do like the workshop start at 4:30?
And they do.
And then just roll into when we're done with the workshop, hey, whatever time we start, or publicly, I guess we have to say,
Yeah,
or
we
just
have
say,
to say.
publicly say, start maybe our meeting at, say 5:15.
5:30.
Because
Okay.
we can't start earlier than the
Right,
posted
because you
time,
can't
but we
start
can
earlier,
st-
so
But
you
we
could
can
say,
start later,
you
say
can start later, so
5:15.
maybe 5:15, and then,
So you don't see the workshop going
Hang
more than
around.
45?
because I think
It
30, 40.
depends. Usually they go about 45
They
minutes.
usually go about 45 minutes, and then, the
Okay.
intermission walk back, or whatever we're doing, and then, and as long as it's after that
And we'll
time.
have it in the same area. Can we do the workshop in here, Michelle? That way we
Yeah.
keep everyone together. too.
Okay,
That's even
so is that okay with the board? 4:30, is that?
Is that all right with you guys? And then,
Sure.
and then we'll post the time as a 5:15.
Good. Meeting, sure, yeah.
That's fine.
Glad to. Okay, if there's nothing else, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion.
Second.
Ms. Catherine and Dr. Teppadino seconds. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
I'm glad you brought that up. I was thinking the
Got
same
stuff
thing.
to
Gotta
sign.
have an
Thank
hour.
Mr. Holly,
Thank you.
for every